Let's start off first with a story that you may not love.
Really?
Heartbreaking.
Yes. Well, it's got to do with the NLC, of course, the Niger Labour Congress. Today happens to be Workers' Day. Well, a few days ago, they had put out a story that despite the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his cabinet had to reshuffle and look into the wages of every single Nigerian, they decided to review the salary take-home. I'm talking about the minimum wage of every Nigerian who works, especially for, you could say, government parastatals and the likes. If you recall, last time it was about 35,000 naira, some said 37,000 naira. And the president did sign into bill or in the law saying that going further, everyone would earn 70,000 naira, an upward review of the minimum wage. But don't forget, there was a back and forth because the Niger Labour Congress had gone into a meeting in Aso Rock with the federal government stating that they wanted to take 1 million naira or plus for every single Nigerian. It came down to 350,000 naira. And then all of a sudden, they settled for 70,000 naira and came out to the press and said, oh yes, we had a wonderful conversation. Mr. President has said that after 70,000 naira in review a year later, it's going to be looked into again and taken upwards. But as we speak, they did come out a few days ago, like I said, and it's a story that's making the rounds today because it's actually Workers' Day, stating that some persons and some states don't pay 70,000 naira. Rather, what they've done is they just topped it up, top it up with 5,000 naira. So if your father or mother was earning 30,000 naira, 35,000 naira, daddy will be coming home with 40,000 naira.
So the big question here is, why is the Nigeria Labour Congress afraid of naming and shaming that state, or some states that they allege are paying this 5,000 naira, or they're only topped it up with 5,000 naira? If you're going to go to the press, I mean, go with all the evidence and all the information you have, because it would help drive the conversation better. And then those governors that are only topped up, because this is not an increase, it's a top up, will do better than that 5,000 naira, because I don't know what 5,000 naira would do.
Right. I mean, I really, it's unfair the way that workers have been treated. Investing in workers is not something that you do for fun. It's a social priority, it's a national priority. Workers form the backbone of every economy. So I think that it's important that we visit conversation about the welfare of workers. But what's even more painful is the fact that we have these same conversations every year. Every year we're talking about workers on May 1st. The major conversation being had is that we feel like, exactly, the wages are not commensurate to the work that is being put in. Workers' welfare forms the crux of conversations year in and year out. I look forward to the year where it will be a Workers' Day, and workers will say, you know what, we're not yet there, but we've made a lot of progress. And
they would celebrate without any form of agitations.
Right. We need to see more workers being thought about when we're thinking of national policy and when we're thinking about the growth and the development of our economy. So prioritizing workers it's a shame that there are still people that are paying way below the minimum wage, right? Way below in terms of, and these are not, it's not even like they're doing menial. In fact, the menial workers, that's another conversation to get into. But I do hope that at the end of the day, we can use this moment as an opportunity to highlight the dissatisfaction of Nigerian workers. And we're not just talking of those that in the higher echelons. We're talking about the middle class, those that in the lower class. Today, much later, we're going to talk about the ride-hailing services and how they're disgruntled as well because they feel like the fares on the apps are not reflective of Nigeria's current economic reality.
And the work they put in also.
So
I agree.
Just to say that.
Just to add before you move to the next story, I had seen a post of a lady on social media. She was putting it up. She said she used to was it a husband or an ex or something, and they're very wealthy. She went to the factory, and she found some of the workers there working tirelessly, and then she asked, have their salaries been reviewed? And the owner of the company said, why would I review their salary? I'll review their salary so that at the end of the day, they'll start earning well and then they'll start living well. And she was shocked. She put it up on social media. If I get to see that link, and she was like, no way. So today is Workers' Day. We're also using the medium to say to employers of labor, you can do better. I mean, times are tough. I know of companies. I know of companies that
the workers that put in the
salaries.
Work.
They didn't review the salaries. What they just did was they just said, okay, we're going to provide meals for you guys. When you come in, there's going to be breakfast. And then before you go, we're going to do lunch once a week and so on, just to help you find a way to cushion the effect of the economy.
And to be honest, kudos to organizations that have taken a step further in making life a little less complicated for their staff. Yeah. There are many policies and many initiatives that have been put in place, right, to ensure that the life and the quality of life of staff is better. For example, the organizations where the staff absolutely do not have to go to work every day. So people have now started to say, you know what, we're going to do a hybrid system where you come to work once a week or twice a week. Yeah. Thankfully, COVID, as bad as it was, made the world realize that people can work from home. So that way, whatever you're paying them, they don't have to finish all their salary on transportation. That's one. So beyond the hybrid system, and I think again, just to mention that employers of labor should focus on productivity and not presence. Sometimes, like, you must come to work, sit down in front of the laptop. They're not doing anything. So if you can get your job done from the house, it's better. Yeah. There are other things as well. Organizations that have prioritized, in this case, and as a woman, I would always speak for women, mothers. Imagine a mom coming back from maternity leave after 3 months, knowing that her kid or her child is in the daycare downstairs, in the building. It will help you give your best at work, because you know if there's anything, they will call you that your child needs your attention. You can run down, nurse your child, and come back to work. And there are organizations that have implemented this. So I think it's time for us to start looking for creative ways to make life better for workers, and not just think of the ancient ways where it's like, I worked in this department for 17 years to get to this level.
Was how we did
you must do 20 years. The world is changing. We don't have to stick to the same old, difficult, thoughtless ways of doing things
Oliver, I'm glad you mentioned we can now work from home. So tomorrow's call me on WhatsApp. Yeah, Joe. I'll be in my bed.
There are some jobs that you cannot work from home. If you're a medical doctor,
I'm going to be here live.
Have you not heard of telemedicine?
Yeah, there's that.
Put the injection this
way. No, but I'm going to the hospital.
Now.
I'm not going to the hospital to see a doctor that is consulted from the house.
What are we doing that I can't do from home? You tell me.
Well, that's over to you.
Is it not knowledge?
That's over to you.
I'm having a lot of it.
But if you could, jokes apart, if there's one thing that one policy that you could ask for, that a number of organizations should implement to make life easier for workers, what would it be? I will go first. In addition to the one I mentioned earlier, again, I would say that for women, I would love that organizations give allowance to say that women can stay home on the first day of their period. Some people give a period leave because it unfortunately, alters the life of many women. The women who cannot function when they're on their periods, and they didn't ask for it. So these are things that, and some other countries have started to implement this as well. So I would think that in Nigeria, and kudos to, I don't want to mention brands, but I know of a bank that has implemented this, that doesn't, the staff, they say, you know what, the first day of your period, you can stay at home.
That's a laudable initiative.
Amen. Do they add men are there?
Men? In the organization or what?
Can men stay off too?
Do you have periods? Do you have
a period of tough time?
No. This one is not even.
This is a biological.
It's a biological. Okay. Unfortunately, it's a restraint that women have to do.
You know why I'm saying that? I mean, aside from trying to look at it, I think anyway. I mean, let's leave it that way.
And I think these
men could also.
Paternity leave. A lot of
Lagos
State, for example, gives paternity leave. New Central, for example, also gives paternity leave.
So what are you trying to tell us now? Are you going for paternity?
New Central is a great place to work.
Are you going for paternity?
Yeah.
So yes, these are some people haven't answered about the policies you would implement.
Policies.
Leave policy.
I would suggest an increment yearly based on MBS statistics on inflation. Because if you're eroding purchasing power year on year if you're not increasing their monies. And you should also factor in inflation. Exactly. So
in favor of this,
you're not working.
No, I'm not saying
So you're not working if you take. Oh, you don't like money. You don't like increase.
No, I want to play the devil's advocate.
Play it.
Okay.
I want to stand for the company. How am I going to increase?
Do you know the company is also charging their business side of it?
How much
the inflation reflects. You think the cost of advertising 2 years ago is
the same thing now?
Yeah.
Of course not.
So let everybody be happy.
And people share bonuses at the end of the year. So that's something to factor in. But tell us your own policy.
Policy, I think I would like to speak for the company. Not New Central, but for the company. Yeah. But to be honest, I think the policies you've mentioned are fantastic.
No, the question I asked was, what policy can you implement to make the quality of workers' lives better, to make them feel
that's what I want to speak as a company. as like
The company is not the
for
worker.
companies.
Workers' Day is for workers. It's not for workers.
exactly.
You're taking away.
On behalf of the workers.
No. That means you don't have answer for
guys
this.
don't
You
want
are
to
speaking for the
escape.
workers, not for the company.
Okay, all right. Policy for workers for
Yes.
me. I think one of the policies that should be implemented, if there was a way, would be that companies should start looking at making work be from Monday to Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's been touted in the UK. They're looking at that. It's been approved in other countries. I think I saw, was it Australia? Sorry, my memory serves me wrong. Now I'm not too sure.
3-day weekend.
4-day weekdays,
4.
3-day weekend. You'll be more productive.
4, yes, 4, Monday to Thursday. You give your full time, you do your job. Friday, you're off. We may not let Friday go, I mean, in Nigeria or Lagos, but what we can do is we could do Friday half day.
No, but we already
I
do
mean,
Friday
most
half
civil
day.
servants,
Yeah,
after
But
prayers, they
people,
don't come
people
back
in the
to work.
banks, people in the banks work till Friday. Sometimes Friday is like their toughest day because they have to close the books, they have to do everything. You see them staying in the banks till 8 or something. But I think it's something we can look at Monday to Thursday. We should join our counterparts.
I completely agree with that. I'm in support of that. So
Monday
with
to
these 3
Thursday.
points
But
of ours,
they shouldn't do it on Breakfast Central.
You'll
Yeah,
cry.
I need
You'll
to see
cry.
you
with
guys
these 3
for
points
5
of
days.
ours, we're going to
Yeah.
summarize by saying
sorry.
that the suggestions that we have, Joe thinks that work day should be 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday, then Friday to Sunday, workers should be allowed to have their weekend. I think that women should be given menstrual leave holidays every month, maybe 1 day a month. Some women won't have to take it. It's their choice to take it because unfortunately, you don't determine how the periods affect your body, as well as also ensuring that every organization has crash daycare so that women can be given equal opportunities to put their best foot forward, knowing that their kids are properly taken care of. And Benga also talked about year-on-year review for the salaries of workers vis-a-vis the economic realities and inflation year-on-year. But with these few points of ours, we hope we've been able to convince and not confuse you that all of us collectively, we have the best interest of workers, and we hope that these are policies that can be looked into in the nearest future by organizations. Let's move on to our next story.
Okay, our next story is a young man who has a penchant for being in the... Okay, not this. No, I want to take that.
Let's take that one last.
No, take
Yes.
Let's take that one last. But let's
I think
talk
you
about,
take it now.
You sure?
Okay, all right.
Let's talk about
take
the tinted
let's
glass
talk about the
permit.
tinted
All right.
permit.
Before now, it was the norm that before you had to get your car tinted,
Yeah.
you needed a permit. After a while, it wasn't an issue again. People could then get their cars tinted.
Yeah.
But it would seem that we're going back to the tinted permit, and now the police is trying to make the digital tinted glass permit a requirement. And many are wondering, why are we doing this? Is this just another means to make money? Is it another money-making venture? And at what point will this be implemented? Now, just to ask or go back to why tinted permits were, or why people tinted their glass in the first place. First of all, there are public officials who, for security reasons, do not want to drive around. Public officials, celebrities, I mean, both of you, people watch you on TV. Imagine them seeing you through your clear glass. And everybody like, oh, this is Johansson Bengaboro. I know you from TV. I want to rag you, don't collect money from you. You understand? So for your own security, safety, and protection, it's best advised you drive in a tinted glass.
Yeah.
1. So 2, beyond the security reasons, there are people who actually have medical reasons why they need to tint their glass.
Yeah.
They're hypersensitive to sun and the likes. And finally, Nigeria is hot.
Yeah, the weather is...
Nigeria is so
very
hot. But this is a press release. They're emphasizing the role in public security. They say that the initiative comes in response to widespread public complaints about the harassment of motorists over the use of tinted windows and reflects the need for a clear, transparent, and accountable process for regularizing factory-fitted tinted glass on vehicles. With modern automobiles increasingly manufactured with tinted windows, it has become less essential to provide a standardized system that accommodates legitimate use while ensuring public safety. So part of their reasons as well, if you can see the 3rd paragraph, they said it's often been exploited for criminal purposes, including kidnapping, armed robbery, one-chance scams, and other forms of banditry. Their use hampers police visibility and impedes effective law enforcement, thereby contributing to public insecurity. So how do we strike that balance between saying, I want to be able to comfortably tint my glass because of the reasons that I have, the aforementioned reasons, and then saying, you know what, we don't want a tinted glass because we need to be able to guarantee the safety and security of Nigerians.
I think we can go back to when this started. It started off in, I think, June 2021, if you recall, the former IGP, Usman Baba, who had said, okay, let's suspend it at some point because it became a struggle. There was an announcement that you must have tinted permits. Some Nigerians kicked against it and said, okay, fine, give us time to do it. Some even started paying through other means that was provided by the Nigerian police force. And then there was discrepancies about the payment process and so on. So because of the challenges of ensuring that you get your permits, the IGP then made an announcement and said, you know what, let's stop it. We'll review it for another time. However, it's been reviewed now and it's back. I agree, because of the insecurity in the country. People might hide under the guise of tinted permits to carry out,
nefarious activities.
Exactly. And you just want to be on point to ensure that, you protect the citizens and lives. However, this is where I have a challenge. Just yesterday, while I was driving home, I did spot some police officers along the Lekki axis stopping tinted cars yesterday. They were all lined up, and these police officers had guns. I'm not saying you shouldn't stop them, but I tried to, eavesdrop to find out by winding down to see what are they talking about. And I overheard some of them saying, permit, permit. And I said, wow. This announcement was just made few hours.
This is what you call food for the bullet.
Few hours
on paper, it's a notable initiative, but we always have a problem with implementation.
The only thing that I couldn't do was, if I had my cameras, I would have been able to say, okay, this is proof. What we're saying here is, we don't mean to put anybody under the bus or run anybody under the bus, but to the IGP, when we launch this, a date should be added for when it will be active. You've given the website. Mm-hmm. You should go ahead and state that from June 1st. Okay? From June 1st, if you don't have it, then there will be issues. And I like the process. It's easier. Go online, it's digitized. Go online, use your TIN, your NIN, register, pay online. The money does not go to someone else.
Yeah.
And then get your certificate and then show it. But my worry is with the process.
I think policies should come with a human face.
Exactly.
If you look at Nigeria at the moment, if you prioritize the list of our issues, and then there's a weather problem. If you go to the tropics and countries that have high sunshine rate, like the Middle East, for example, everybody has tints. It's not a problem. What is the percentage of one chance that we have in Nigeria that is causing so much insecurity? Was it one chance that led to killing of hundreds of Nigerians in Bokos, in the hotspots around the country? No, we should talk about community policing, effective policing, fast response time. This is a non-issue that we should not be discussing. The weather is hot. People need to be comfortable. People can have heat stroke if they're exposed to the elements. You have a city like Maiduguri, they're doing 40-something degrees centigrade, and you think you're priority. And we have a one-track mind and mentality, and that's why those policemen have jumped on it to take advantage of this announcement to harass and extort people in the name of tin permit.
Yeah.
It's not fair. It's not fair. People are going through a lot, and this is they're better and more pressing policing issues that they should attend to.
So I'm going to borrow from something that the both of you said. First, you said that every policy must have a human face, and I completely agree with that. And in a policy like this having a human face, I'm also going to borrow from what you have said, Joe, which is that if they absolutely must do this, then give people a time frame. It's not something that you say and you just kick off into it, right?
They said, sorry to, but they said from today it starts.
And nobody was.
You just announced yesterday.
No, the time frame was too short. Give people a reasonable time frame, because it just feels like in this case we're being set up, and which is what Nigerians see a lot of the times. We make policies, make announcements without thinking of the hardship it will cause on the average Nigerian. So say, okay, we have a 1 month duration
2 months
for you to do this, right? If you haven't done this, so that when they now decide to start searching, everybody knows that I was being given adequate information. And it's not just even announcements.
What happens to cars that are factory fitted? That come
exactly, because in 2025, the number of cars already come factory fitted.
The police will tell you that it will be written on the car that there's factory fitted, and then you have to go and pay for the factory fitted car that is tinted. That's what they tell you.
Why must you pay? JAM has become a revenue-making body. Why do we just feel every arm of government must generate revenue?
Again,
just to announce
to
our viewers, let me just read the communique very quickly. It says the spokesperson of Nigerian Police announced a 30-day grace period that has been approved starting from May 1st, during which motorists are expected to comply with the new regulations. Now, in my former statement, I had said that there should be a proper time frame. I think 1 month grace from May 1st to the end of May, for me, I'm sorry, it's too short. I think you could have said from the month of May and June. Then from July, we start, apprehending or, holding on to Nigerians who have refused. Because Nigerians should know this particular statement, because the police guys are going to be out there stopping you and telling you, where's your permit? You should be able to tell them, oh, I have till May 30th, so do not disturb me.
So just to also mention again, beyond this, another problem is we don't communicate things properly, right? We don't. So I'm hoping that during this 30, quote-unquote, 30-day grace, we're seeing the Nigerian police going on TV stations, going on radio, and making these announcements so that people are aware. Because it just feels like not everybody's on Twitter. Not everybody's going to see it on
Even the policemen, I hope the information gets to them that there's a 30 grace period.
Are you not hearing what Joe said?
Yesterday.
That he saw them, that they already stopped people yesterday.
It's basically just prying on Nigerians
and when you tell them, they will say, are you teaching me my job?
When you hear that maybe NNPC has changed the pump price, has increased the pump price of petrol, all the other ones now start to shut down or immediately increase theirs. Please, let's move away to a very important
there's Big Smoke and
Okikiola.
aka Joyce.
Something that has to do with Tony Montana or something.
Yes, I mean, he has a way of putting himself in the news.
What's that?
By fire, by force. Joyce.
Joyce, oh my gosh.
Guys,
meanwhile, he claims his brotherhood. An Ogun State magistrate court sitting in the local government area has sentenced controversial street hop artist Habib Okikiola, popularly known as Portable, aka Ika of Africa, aka Dr. Z, aka Zazu, aka I'm a baboon, I live in a zoo. They've sentenced him to 3 months imprisonment with an option of 30,000 naira fine. I mean, come on. And the musician was arrested in March 2023 after physically attacking a police inspector and obstructing officers who were attempting to serve him an arrest warrant. The police prosecutor, Inspector Olumide Awoleke, had earlier informed the court that Portable committed the offense in November 2022. So the long and short of the gist is it has an option of 30,000 naira or 3 months in jail.
Which one do you think? What do you think? Olive, good one.
Well, Elizabeth Joyce, aka Portable. Now, in case you're wondering why we're calling him Elizabeth Joyce, his Instagram handle, official username is Elizabeth.
Did he buy that Instagram handle of someone?
I don't even know.
Why can't he just change?
I don't know.
Elizabeth
so the thing is, it's complicated sometimes when you're trying to change.
Are you sure? Is that his Instagram handle?
See
yes.
now,
Hold on, let me check. Let me look for it.
I don't know if our camera can capture it.
No, I'll look for it. Don't worry.
Elizabeth Joyce on Instagram.
What?
Well, Elizabeth Joyce, Portable e-baby, has, of course, I think that without a shadow of doubt, he'll take the 30,000 naira fine. But I'm hoping that he has a team that can help him. He's been in the news.
You guys are right.
Yeah, we're right.
So
you thought we were joking.
Is it okay? Is he okay?
This has always been the name. You're just realizing. Yeah.
I'm just saying it for that. I don't follow it.
I know, right? So I just think that he has a team. He needs a team to help him shape up, because he's been in the news a lot for the wrong reasons. He has a lot of fans. He's very talented, has so much potential. But he must also recognize that celebrities are not above the law. If he comes and he assaults a police officer, he of course should be made to face the law. But I'm hoping that his team, if he does have one, and if he will not call them out on Instagram Live tomorrow, can come together, and help him in the next
this picture. Portable is stubborn.
People did Portable dirty.
Portable is like it can be likened to a stubborn sore on the throat, where you treat it, it comes back. It attacks you.
It's the way he transforms from hardcore to sober when the law comes to him. And he's called himself another AKA is federal government liability. He says, I'm a government picker, I'm a federal government liability. I wonder what that means.
Shout out to Portable e-baby, Elizabeth Joyce. Congratulations.
Elizabeth Joyce, stay out of trouble.
Please stay out of trouble. Congratulations on getting your judgment. I know that you opt for 30,000 naira fine because your fans want to see you in jail. And hopefully after you come out this time around, you and Burna Boy can collaborate and give us a banger. As Pete Darlington will just be smiling wherever he is.